Hi, it's Alison here again from Starzology. This time I'm going to be talking to you about what to pack for an astrology conference. So if you're an astrologer or you're an astrology student and interested in going to an astrology conference, we're going to discuss what you need to take with you. There are many astrology conferences around the world. There's loads that happen in the States. Quite a few go on in Canada as well, and obviously they go on everywhere. I also went to one in South Africa at one point. But the point is that if you do on astrology, you want to go to a conference, you might want to think about what you want to pack. Way back in 2014, I went from Vancouver to the Faculty of Astrological Studies, London, to their summer school in the August, and I took a massive suitcase where I was actually overweight in Vancouver before I'd even left. That point, my phone died at the airport, so I didn't have a cell phone for the whole trip, which just added to all the confusion. But when I arrived in London and tried to get my suitcase onto the coach to go up to Oxford, the coach driver even said to me, "Have you got a body in here?" Because it was just so heavy. I then hauled the thing all the way through the streets of Oxford, finally got to the college and discovered my room was on the 4th floor and there was no lift or elevator. So I had to pay some guy to carry this thing upstairs, and he nearly died on the way. And when it got there, that we just placed it on the floor, and I couldn't move it. The thing was so heavy, I don't know what I was thinking about. Not that I'm much of a traveller, or I wasn't until that point. I then bought a second suitcase, split the load, and brought the whole lot back with me. But the point is, what I learned, that lesson I learned in that trip was that there's no point hauling all this stuff. You don't even use it. 2/3 of the things I never even took out of the suitcase, and I don't know what I was thinking of. So from that point on, I decided that when I travel, I will only ever put my stuff in a suitcase that will fit in the cabin. That's the overhead cabin on the plane. I will never again put things in the hold, because then it saves time as well, because you've got to check them in, check them out, and that's where luggage gets lost. So I did get a super little, dinky little Rimowa suitcase that fits in the cabin. It's a hard case suitcase, and that's the one that I use for my trip. So I will take that small suitcase, the cabin size, and also a handbag on my lap in the plane, or on the bus or wherever you go. But that's what I take with me. So if we're going to consider that you're going to go to an astrology conference, which is ideally, we're going to be looking at, say you're going there from the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and actually what you're going to need for those days. So you'll travel down on Friday in your travel clothes, and when you get there, you're going to be changing into an evening top, because if you've got something nice on in the evening as well. And then Saturday, you'll have another set of clothes, and again, you will change to the evening top for the banquet, something twinkly or sparkly there perhaps. And then on Sunday, you will again be wearing your travel clothes. Even though you'll be at the conference for that morning, you're still just going to be hitting the road after that. So the idea is that you really need 3 full sets of clothes for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then 2 extra tops. So let's have a look at some other things. What about the tech stuff you're going to need to take with you? Because these days that's what we all do, right? You're going to need your smartphone. I think everybody has one. I don't know if I do. Most people would naturally. You want to keep up. You're going to take photos. You're going to do videos. You're going to keep up with your friends. You keep up with your kids or whatever's going on. Also, if you get lost, you can always just call a cab or something. So I also take my MacBook Pro, which is I've had it for a while now, and take my computer, because I typically will be speaking at these conferences, so that's where I'll be doing my presentation from my computer, but I'll take it anyway, even if I'm not speaking, because it's got everything on it, and why wouldn't you? I will also take my iPad, with Astro Gold, because when I'm at conferences, astrology conferences, I offer chart readings at reduced rates for anyone who happens to be there for the weekend. And typically you can see on my page, you can actually book beforehand, or just come up to me and I do readings for you on the spot. So yeah, so that's interesting. And of course, from all of this technology, you need the cables that go with it. You need the cables that connect for your computer to your HDMI cable that will connect to the TV, and there are many places where you can drop the ball with not having enough cables, so always double check that before you go. I wrap my cables up small and put them in plastic bags so I can see what they are, and they go in the case as well. So the clothing suggestions I have, these are typically for women, because that's what I'm doing. I suppose men would do something similar. I don't know for these conferences. So this is your actual checklist that you're going to need to put in your suitcase. Black pants, leggings, a light tunic ×2, a light knit top, a light jacket. Evening top coloured, that's for the Friday night dinner. And then an evening top jazzy with a bit of twinkle. This is for the Saturday night dinner. Many photographs are taken, and there's usually some entertainment afterwards. So you're mixing and mingling then as well. Also running shoes, that's going to be your one option for footwear. And then booties, which are really ankle boots. They call them booties these days, cute little booties that you could just be wearing. And socks. So I would typically have at least 3 pairs of socks there, because in hotel rooms I never go barefoot. I always walk with my socks because it's recommended as well. So camisoles or bras and panties. Now this doubles as pajamas. You don't need to be taking pajamas, nightwear, dressing gowns and assorted stuff with you. There's no need. I also have a pashmina in a solid colour, which is a very light scarf, and you can work their magic. I do like it in a rose pink or a cream or whatever I have at the time, but I definitely would have a pashmina with me. You probably also need a scarf, light cotton or silk in bright tones, which you can wrap twice around your neck, and then both hanging at the front. Jewellery, because you need to. You've got to accessorize, right? So regular daytime or some statement jewellery for Saturday night. You don't have to hold the diamonds up, but you might want to have something a little more flashy for these occasions. So what about bags? Well, I take a handbag or a tote bag. That's for the daily lectures. You take your notes, your journals. Let me show you the typical journals I would have. The moleskin, the journal, you've got that with you because you're taking notes everywhere you go. Stuff like that. But you want to watch out that your tote bag is not massive, because the bigger it is, the more stuff you're going to haul around. So I have what I would call a medium to size tote that I use for that. And then I also take a small evening bag, which is very neat and tidy. And in this you can put your phone, your credit cards, business cards, lipstick, cash, and the room key. Because on the evening events, the Friday night dinner and the Saturday night, you really do not need to haul your great tote around with you. There's no need for that. So what are you going to wear when? So on the Friday in the day, you're going to start off with your leggings, your black leggings, a tunic, a light jacket, socks and booties, because we're going out, we're traveling. Stretch pants, and therefore the leggings are a great deal. I do avoid going in denim. That used to be the thing 10 years ago, but not anymore. So the jacket could have some pockets for your phone and cash, maybe at the top, and the tunic hangs lower at the back to cover your backside and going to be shorter in the front for ease of sitting on the car or on the plane for hours. On Friday evening, you will replace the tunic for the nice coloured evening top and lose the jacket. Keep the booties and socks, the evening bag and photos may be taken. So Friday night, you're keeping the black leggings on, but you're putting on your jazzy top. Saturday for the day, you're going to be wearing the black pants, right? So now we've got the top, regular top, tunic or knit top, and a scarf. Now you're wearing your running shoes for comfort during the Saturday, and of course the socks. And then Saturday evening, you keep the black pants on. You now put on the jazzy evening top. You've got your pashmina, you're wearing your booties, socks, your statement jewellery, and the evening bag. So why the booties? Because although you'll be in the hotel, you might want to step outside onto the patio. People might decide, let's go down somewhere else after dinner, and you want to be looking good as you're going out. So that will be for the banquet. And then Sunday in the day, you're back to the leggings, another coloured tunic and the knit jacket, running shoes and socks, because now it's really comfortable. It's your last day. You're going to be wearing your running shoes. You've got your socks on as well. So these leggings that we're wearing on Sunday are the same leggings you came up with on Friday. If you feel the way, you can actually rinse them through on Friday night and with a little squirt of the shampoo in the hand basin, rinse them through and hang them in the shower to dry, and by Sunday morning they will be fresh. However, if you feel you can on Sunday just wear the leggings you had on Friday, then go ahead and do so. That's really the idea. What about makeup and hair? Okay, so I'm saying here your usual makeup, because we don't want to get complicated. You're probably going to need earbuds, hairbrush, toothbrush, medicines and Imodium, because you never know what you're going to be eating, and your usual vitamins and supplements and so on. So you take all of those medications. But we're going to a conference, so we're astrologers, so what else are you going to take? Well, you're going to take your books. For myself, it will be promotional material. So this, for instance, would be the latest workshop. This is our latest flyer that I will be taking to the next one. Whatever flyer you have available, you would be taking to the next conference, though presenting something. So an ephemeris, I never travel without an ephemeris. Oh my goodness, let me show you. Here it is. We'll discuss this another day. It's the Bible. You've got to have your ephemeris. So there we got your ephemeris. You're also going to take your astrology journal, which was this one, which we discussed earlier, where you're going to write all the details and all the conferences, all the lectures you sit in, who you met, who spoke, what it was, and how you felt about it. You'll also be taking your business cards for those who want, but you never push your business card. If they ask for it, you've certainly got one ready to go. And if you are a professional astrologer, you need to have them for these events for sure. Awareness cards. Now I've started using these for, it's a special postcard size card. So the awareness card. Now typically my awareness card looks like this. It details who I am, what I do, briefly the website, and on the back I have this handy dandy chart, birth chart circle, and that is right in, that happens to be chart there for Shelley. We won't go into it, but this is her chart, and if I'm going to do a consultation, I'll just write it on the back. But these are blank and they're on the table for those who are interested. So that's called your awareness cards. I also take pencils. These are the Starzology ones. It actually says Starzology on them. I think you can read that if I can just hold it carefully. Maybe not. Let me try that again. Where's the camera? Starzology, astrology with heart. So I dish out these pencils at all conferences and events I go to. That's just more promotional stuff. I also take coloured crayons, and this is for keeping my journal up to date, so I can colour it in as I go, so I can remember what happened, what I wanted to do, and I'll give you an example of what some of those look like. And then I take some pens to write with, because you've got to take notes, right? So you don't just take one. I usually take 3 or 4, because you might want to lend one to someone, or you lose one, and you want to be able to do all your writing as well. So then we get onto some extra stuff that you might need to take, and hopefully by now it's all still fitting in your case. Clearly your passport if you're going to the States from Canada, which we will be doing, and a Nexus card if you need all those things. You also want a copy of the proof of your conference payment, that you actually made the payment for the conference, because the first time I went to the Soda conference in Niagara Falls, I got there and they said, no, you didn't pay it. Of course, I knew I had. But fortunately, I did have the paperwork with me, because for some reason their information was slightly out of date. So I was able to confirm that I had paid for the conference. That is separate to paying for the hotel. I also take a copy of the hotel booking, although I know these days you can put it on your phone. It's handy to have your information so you know when you booked and this and that, because sometimes, you know, hiccups occur, they do. And I also like to take small denominations of cash, because if I'm in Canada, of course, Canadian, if you're traveling in the States, you want some 5s and 1s, because you've got to tip Tom, Dick and Harry and who knows what. Also, you need to have cash on hand at the banquets, because they will be doing perhaps a collection to support other people less fortunate, or there might be a raffle and they'd like you to donate some cash. And at that point, they can't really take credit cards. So it would be a raffle. You'd want to put a 20 in or something like that. So you do need to have some kind of cash available. Also, if I'm staying in a hotel, I always tip the maid beforehand. I find it's just easier with, you know, $5 or whatever a day. So if there is a free stuff table, that's where you're going to put your pencils, your awareness cards, your business cards, and any promotional material you may have about the business you're doing, the astrology type of work that you're trying to achieve. So there are also a few things that you don't want to take as well. You're hauling this bag around. Do you really need this stuff? You don't need pajamas. You don't need a robe or gown. You don't need slippers. You don't need extra shoes, just the booties and the running shoes. You don't need extra bags. Let's not go there. Too many clothes just in case. If you're the sort of person who's packing, say, well, I better take an evening dress just in case. Right there, when you're saying just in case, you don't need that item in your bag. You don't really need to take regular shampoo and conditioner. You can decant to the little travel 100mm size. You're only going there for 2 nights, tops, maybe 3. How many times are you going to wash your hair? You don't need to take an alarm clock. You can use your phone, because you'll need that. You don't need a big coat unless you're going north of 60. And I say this because hotels are warm. They're either warm or they're cold, but you're really not necessarily going to be stepping outside. You don't need a big coat. You don't need to take general other junk, stuff, knickknacks. What are you thinking? No. And you don't take your dog. There's no need for any of those things. So astrology conferences can be a lot of fun, and they're actually quite a lot more fun when you actually get up and you're not hauling too much junk around. And baggage is a function of Pluto, so you may see that in your chart anyway. So here I've just been sharing with you some of my habits and ideas for traveling and what to take to an astrology conference specifically, rather than just any old weekend away, because we are astrologers and it's got to be astrology centric if we're going to be doing those things. Yeah. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy my videos, do subscribe and give me a like on that. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.